Hey everybody, Doug here with Doug Johnson Productions, Orem, Utah. This video is a little unusual compared to some of the other ones. This one is really meant as a training video for the people that we're going to be working with as partners and as contractors. Doug Johnson Productions is set up a little bit different, in a little bit different way than we're traditionally used to seeing in the media business, in that the full-time staff is really kept to a minimum, and then whenever we have jobs, we hire outside contractors to come in, do things like set up, take down, run cameras. Even jobs like directing are very often hired out. So what we're talking about today is the new site, our new portion of the website, company website, that focuses on scheduling and staffing, and make sure that we have all the staff that we need in order to properly shoot an event. So, as I mentioned, this is primarily for the people we're working with, but if you happen to be in the local area and you've stumbled across this video and you want to sign up, by all means, there's no obligation signing up on here. This is basically just saying, hey, if there's ever the right event, I'd be willing to work for you. So there's no contract, there's no exclusivity, anything like that. So if you have any interest whatsoever in doing some work with us in any of the capacities that we need, it's audio, video, and all the related disciplines as well. Just go onto the website and fill out the short form. It's only a few questions, and then you fill out a user profile. And I'll get into all that. But once you sign up on there, that actually gives you the ability to be notified when there are upcoming events that are in your area that require a position that you are able to fill. So, with that said, let's just jump right in and take a look. The website itself is www.djprod.biz. That's DJ Productions. So here we're looking at the home screen, and this front screen is really aimed at potential customers. But if we scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you'll see that there is a link here for contractors, and that's the portion of the site that we're going to be talking about. So go ahead and click on that, and you can see it's already automatically filled in my username and password, but we're going to sign up for a brand new account. So I'm going to click here, and we're going to use a fake profile today. And then the profile we're using is Steve Stevens. In fact, let's spell it a little different for variety. So Steve Stevens. And we're going to give him a DG Prod email address. I've already set that up. Cell phone is 1-801-555-1111. Okay, scroll down a bit and generate a password. And one thing you'll notice here, we actually make a suggestion for a password. In my career as a software developer, security is one of those things that I took very, very seriously. So as I was creating this website, I wanted to make sure that security was a top priority here as well. So the site actually generates a completely random password. It uses a very high quality random number generator. And if you want to use that password, you just click on the little link below. And if you're using a password manager, even the ones that are built into the browsers, it will automatically pick up on that and remember it for you. So this way you can make sure that you've got a nice strong password that is not going to get hacked. So, and then beyond that, the only other thing we have to do here is check the box that says, I'm not a robot. And once we do that, we click on sign up. I'm going to go ahead and save that password in my collection here so that I can log in here in a moment. And once you've done that, it notifies me as the site owner that a new contractor has just signed up. But this isn't where we stop here. At this point, you're going to want to log in and fill out a profile. Basically says, these are the types of jobs that I'm interested in and whatnot. So with that, go ahead and click on this link to log in. And then I'm going to have it pull up there we go, pull up the Steve account. There we go. So now Steve is logged in. And you can see that there's two links that to other pages, information that needs to be filled out. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to go to the profile page. And this is where we're going to fill out some information, just a little bit of information in order to make sure that the right jobs are being sent to Steve's account. So the first thing it's going to ask for is zip code. So we're just going to use 84057 is the zip code. That's an Orem zip code. And distance I'm willing to travel for jobs. In this case, we're going to say Steve is willing to travel up to 75 miles for a job. And having that setting in there basically allows the site to determine which jobs that are created as events that Steve is going to be notified of. You know, if a job is too far away, then it just never even shows up on his profile. He never gets emails about it. Doesn't show up as a potential work opportunity as well. So we're just going to fill that in. About me. Hi, my name is Steve. I'm a fake user for demoing the website. Okay, and if Steve had a website, we could fill in the website URL here. And if you had a demo reel, you could put that in here too. And now if you want to change the password, you fill in the old password here and then 2 copies of the new password. And from there, we're just going to go ahead and save the account. And there you go. It says, yeah, your account has been updated. Okay, so that's the basic information that's associated with the account. If the zip code and the travel distance are absolutely required if you want to be able to see any jobs on the site. If you don't fill out either one of those things, then the site won't know where to send you what jobs to send you notifications of. So you need to make sure that you have those things filled out. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at here is what we call the interests and skills. This is basically where it's like sort of like a mini resume, but much more simple than that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. Top of the page. And what we're going to do here is we're going to fill in what level of interest I have, or Steve has, in performing a particular job, and what skill level. The difference here is if someone has a lot of skill in a particular area, but it's a job that they don't necessarily want to perform, they can say so. You know, say, you know, I've been running camera for 20 years, but you know what? I'm tired of that. I don't necessarily want to do that. I will let you know that I can do it, so in an emergency, you know, you can ask me to do it, but really my preferred job is assistant technical director or something like that. So that's why we separate those two into separate categories. And along with that, we also have one that says years of experience, and that's just kind of basically saying how long you've been doing that particular job, and then a preferred day rate. So we're gonna treat Steve as if he is a handheld camera operator. So he's been running handheld cameras for a long time, and he is actually still very much interested in doing that. So, you know, we'll start by doing that and say, you know, on the far right here, handheld camera operator interest level is a 5, and the skill level is also a 5. And we'll say that Steve has 15 years of experience running camera, and his preferred day rate is $400. Now, just to be clear, this preferred day rate is not a guarantee that Steve is going to be paid that much on a job. It means I'm going to try and hire him for jobs that are able to pay that much, but it's not a guarantee. And if a job comes along that's not able to pay that much, the site will allow me to basically make an offer to Steve and say, you know what, I can only pay you $300 on this job on this particular day, and then Steve has the option to either accept or reject that. So this is basically just a preferred rate, and that's used in the hiring process. So I can make sure that I'm hiring people as close to their day rate as possible, and that, for example, if we are on a budget job, some of the people who are willing to be paid a little less might be more likely to be hired. So there's a lot of things that go into determining which of the different contractors that we work with are actually going to be hired for a job. So you make sure when you're filling out this profile that you provide as much information as possible. You know, preferred rate doesn't mean that you're going to get paid that much. It doesn't mean you're not going to get paid more either. So, you know, if we really do get a high-paying job, you know, we could actually offer more than what your preferred day rate is here. So, like I say, it's just the preferred rate. It's not a guarantee that that's what you're going to get for doing that particular job. And should also mention here that you notice that the preferred rate is separate for each one of the different jobs, different skills that are on there. So, for example, grip work, you know, it doesn't tend to pay as well. If you're willing to do grip, you're able to scroll down to the bottom of the page here and say, you know what, I'm interested in doing grip work. I've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it for 20 years, and my preferred day rate on that is $250. You know, grip work is a little less skilled than some of these other things, so it tends to pay a little less than camera operator or whatever. But you know what? if I don't have anything else going on, I will be willing to work for $250 for a day. So you're able to fill that in. Now, in this case, we've only filled out 2 entries, which really limits Steve's potential to get hired. So what you really want to do here is fill out as much of this page as you possibly can. So I'm just going to very quickly run through, say, a camera operator, or a tripod camera operator. Interest is a 4. Skill is a 5. You know, Steve's been doing it for forever. Steadicam operator, his interest is a 4, but his skill level's maybe only a 2. A jib operator, you know, he'd really like to do that, but he's never done it before, so skill level's a 1. PTZ, interest is a 5, skill level 2. Camera assistant, you know, maybe not so much on the interest and not so much on the skill. Director, 3 and a 1. Technical director, 3 and a 1. Assistant technical director, 3, 1. Cinematographer, maybe a 4 and a 1. Audio engineer, you know, no interest whatsoever, and no skill or no experience. Lighting technician, none and none. Video engineer, you know, maybe Steve really would like to do video engineering but has no skill, no experience. Video editor, you know, editing not so much interest there, but maybe skilled at it. Colorist, 3 and a 3. Audio mixer, none and none. Public relations. I mean, this even covers administrative type functions. So we'll say none and none. Marketer, none and none. Management, none. Gopher. You know, maybe Gopher would be okay for 2 and skill level 3, and then grip. Okay. So now that we filled it all out, I'll go ahead and hit save. And then, so that is now saved to Steve's profile, and so that information will be used by me when I'm actually hiring for a job. So I'm able to see the interest level, the skill level, the years of experience, and the preferred day rate when I'm actually scheduling for jobs. So, all right, now I'm going to take just 1 second here and perform some administrative stuff, and I'm going to take Steve's account and enable it. All right, we're back. We took a short break, and I went ahead and approved Steve's account. So Steve made the application to become a registered contractor on the site, and I approved that. And so Steve actually got an email. That email looks just like this. It's basically saying your DJP contractor account has been approved. You may now log into the site, review upcoming events, and apply for work. And so clicking on the contractor home link actually takes Steve to this particular page, and I'm just going to refresh it, make sure that's current. So yeah, it's basically, you know, here's the welcome to the website. The next section below that is what we call my schedule. So if you've been hired for an event, you know, you've put in the application to work on an event, and your application is approved, that will show up here in this first section, and this will show a little bit more detail. I'll actually show you what it looks like in a minute, but showing you more detail about what the event is. So like the name of the event, the address where it's located, what time you need to be there, so the call time, the start and end time of the actual event itself that we're working. And that would show up here under my schedule. But before anything shows up there, you actually have to apply for these positions. Now if we scroll down a little bit further here, those are listed under my opportunities. And the opportunities we're looking at here are basically a sample template that I've created. And I'm going to leave this on the site so that it's always available for people to play with. You know, you can apply for work for this sample event, even though there's no actual event. But this allows you to become familiar with how the website works. And if you're watching this video after this sample date, January 1st, 2018, I will have created a new event. So just look for the event that's labeled sample or type sample, and you'll be able to use that to just become familiar with how the website works, how the process works of applying for a job, and what happens once you actually get hired for one. So with that, let's actually take a look here. So this sample event is actually a 5-day event. The way I've got it configured here, day 1 is setup and then a dry run through. Make sure people are familiar with the equipment, with the venue, know the other people that they're working with, and so forth. So if you look at this, you can see that the grip work is actually from 12 to 6 p.m. So we're assuming that there's 6 hours of setup time. 6 hours is a really long time for the type of event we do. So this is a big deal. And if you notice here in this filled column, it's saying there's 0 of 5 grip positions filled. And so, if you're willing to work grip, in this case, Steve is willing to work as a grip that day to help set up, all you have to do is go over here to this interest column and check the box. And the other thing you'll see is that it's filled in a default bid amount of $200. So, when we filled out Steve's profile a few minutes ago, we said that Steve's day rate is going to be $250. And the site has automatically said, you know what, 6 hours, that's relatively close to a normal 8-hour day. So we're going to assume the default bid of $200. Does some rough calculations there to try and make sure that the contractor is getting the most that they possibly can. But it fills in that amount automatically. Now, Steve can change that. He's going to say, you know what, I'm willing to do grip work, but $250 is really my minimum, no matter how many hours we're working. So Steve puts in $250 for his bid for that particular job. Now, the other thing that Steve's going to want to do here is make sure that he has expressed interest in being a camera operator for that day. So, during for this type of event where it's multi-day, this is obviously a big event. It's 5 days, so we make sure that Steve comes for the dry run through on Monday, even though it's only an hour. We really want Steve to be there in order to become familiar with the equipment, the venue, the event, etc. And so Steve really needs to check that box to say he's interested for that. And he's going to put in a bid of 0, basically saying, you know what, I'm willing to come that day for free as long as you hire me for other days for the event. So we're going to make that assumption here on the site. And as we go through and look at the other days, he's going to say, you know what, Tuesday, I'm willing to work as a camera operator, and I'm willing to drop my rate a little bit to 300 so that I can have the opportunity to be hired for more than one day. So we're going to check the box for camera operator for Tuesday, camera operator for Wednesday, also $300 for the day. Thursday, maybe he's got a family event that he can't be there, so he doesn't check the box for interested on that. But Friday he is back, able to work again, so interested at $300. And then since this is the last day, we've got cleanup. So, the last one of the last events listed on, or last skills on here is listed as grip. And so Steve's going to say, you know what, I'm already there. If you want to pay me a little bit for my time to help with teardown, that's great. And so the site is calculated a rate of 125, default day rate of 250. This is a 3-hour opportunity, so we're going to leave that at the default of 125. So with all the check boxes checked here, go ahead and click the save button. And then anytime you come back to this page, you're going to see that the job status on these is applied, which means that it's requested to work but has not necessarily been hired for or approved to perform that work. Now, I'm going to just take 1 second here, and I'm going to go to the events page here, and I'm going to hire Steve for camera operator, for all of the days that he's applied for. I'm sorry, that's grip for the first day. Camera operator hired. Camera operator hired. Just go through and hire him for every day that he applied for. Hired. So, okay, Steve Stevens. Okay, hired, but I'm gonna do a counter offer. Say, we're actually only shooting for half a day on this one, so I'm only going to pay $200 for the half day of shooting, and then come down and hire him for the grip position. So I save changes on that, and then when Steve comes back to the site, you can see under my schedule, hey, here's a little more information about this particular event. So down here in the opportunities, everything is listed generically. It doesn't give specific addresses. It doesn't give the name of the event. And that's to protect privacy of DJP. We're going to have a lot of contractors that might be working for competitors, and we don't want to actually reveal the details about some of these jobs until we've elected to hire somebody. So once you've been hired for something, that's when you actually see the details about it. So an event name, a description, the location, and if I was to click this link, it would actually go directly to Google Maps and show where that event is, and then some notes associated with that. Now we scroll down here just a little bit more, and see these are the jobs that Steve has actually been hired for. I failed to mention that Steve would have gotten an email at this point, basically saying, "Hey, you've been hired for all these events, so add it to your calendar. So make sure you show up." But if Steve logs into the website, he'll be able to see, hey, here's all the upcoming opportunities that I have, and the things that I've actually been hired for. In this case, we can see that Steve's been hired for camera operator for grip, camera operator for 3 days, and then his grip on the last day. So at this point, Steve's job is basically to show up. So if something changes and you're no longer able to work a particular job, you can still change that application on the website. So, for example, maybe we find out that Steve finds out that his family event that was originally on Thursday, actually is on Wednesday as well. So what he does is he scrolls down here and unchecks the interested box on camera operator for Wednesday, and then saves the changes. And then at that point, that will disappear from the My Schedule portion of the site. I will also get notification that I'm down a camera operator for that day, and so I need to go hire somebody else. And if Steve finds out, hey, you know what, the thing on Wednesday, it's actually in the evening, you can still work during the day. So at that point, Steve would actually have to come down, scroll down to Wednesday for camera operator, and say, you know what, I am interested again. I am interested after all. Click the box, click save. Then we go through the process again, where I get an email saying Steve is interested in being hired for this event, and then I can approve and hire him for that event again. So that's the gist of it. So now, with that said, once a contractor's been approved, they can come over to this events tab and see details about any particular event, whether they've been hired for it or not. So you click on the name, and then you actually see the details about it. So start date, end date, the address where it appears, and then notes associated with it. That's really kind of the gist of it. The whole site is focused on making sure that we have the right staff, enough staff, and the right staff, in order to make sure that we're doing the proper job on it for a particular event. If we got a corporate event where we can have no mistakes, then maybe the less experienced crew might not necessarily be hired for that. But if we've got a lower paying event, and it's okay if we have a camera operator who's maybe not as experienced, then yeah, we'll bring on a less experienced camera operator, help get them trained, give them some experience, give them the experience that they need to be hired for the higher profile events later down the road. So, but yeah, I'd say that's really the gist of the site. If you have any questions, you can drop me an email. It's doug@djprod.biz. If you have any suggestions about what I can do to improve the site, I'm also open to that as well. So, like I mentioned, my former job as software developer is what allows me to create the website, this kind of thing. So I did all this on my own, and enhancements are actually pretty easy for me to make. So if you got an idea that actually would help to make the website better, just be sure and let me know. So if you have any generic comments, you can put them in the comment section down below. But for this type of video, though, an email is probably a better way to go. Or you can use the contact page on the website. djp.li/contact is a short address to get there. So, but anyway, appreciate your interest, and hope you take the time to fill out your profile completely on the website, because the more information you put in there, the more likely you are to be hired for work. And we'd love to start working with new people and bring some new people on board. So anyway, thanks for your interest, and we'll talk to you later.